I've always been a very sentimental person. Nostalgia has always been a big part of my life, but especially now, where I find myself nearing the end of my childhood. Growing up is a funny thing because you don't realize it's happening until one day you find yourself on the other side of it. And you look back and you wonder where all the time has gone, but before you know it, you're another year older and you're in the middle of it all again. Over the past few years, so many things have changed for me. They have mostly been positive changes, but I still feel like I'm saying goodbye to a world that used to be so familiar. A time in my life that felt so warm and comfortable. It often feels like I'm experiencing so many lasts, so many moments I will never get to experience again. I've had countless thoughts about nostalgia and memory, but one of the thoughts that got to me most was this quote. You can't physically relive a memory. You can only long for it. It literally shook me to my core. The realization that you can never experience being 13 or 15 or 17 ever again. The fact that you can replay your happiest moments in your head as much as you'd like, but no matter how much you cry or scream or fight or grieve, you can never actually relive them ever again. I could talk for hours about how my thoughts on childhood, growing up, coming of age, and memory has changed over time, but I want to focus more on my current realizations on nostalgia. But long story short, not too long ago, there was a period in my life where I was eventually almost consumed by a sense of nostalgia and sentimentality. And it had gotten to the point where the bittersweetness became more bitter and eventually turned into sadness and fear. Fear that the moments I so dearly cherish would turn into a hazy blur, merely a distant time in the past for me to reminisce on with an incessant aching in my chest. And during moments where I would find myself having fun and enjoying the moment, I would have this tinge of melancholiness echoing inside of me, as if I was already looking back on a memory. As if I was telling myself, look around, look at these people you love, who may soon become memories to you. Take it all in, you will miss this soon. I always had this lingering feeling that it would all end soon, that faces would turn into a blur and laughter would become muffled, and one day I would look back and miss it all unbearably. I felt separated from it all somehow. A quote that perfectly encapsulates this is, "One day, this too will become the past, and you will mourn it. This too will become the past, and you will mourn it." I repeated in my head like a chant. I'm not sure when, but slowly and gradually, a change started occurring within me. It was like I started to take this same quote and sentiment but look at it in a different light. One day, I was looking through my laptop notes and randomly found something I'd written, something I had no recollection of writing. There was nothing else on the notes document, just this one sentence. Why not think about the present before it becomes a part of the past? I started to shift my focus away from the past and the future onto the present. Yes, there are so many memories I constantly miss and long for. Yes, I know that this too will become the past and that I will mourn it in the future. But even more so, I'm grateful that the present is so warm and kind, because the fact that I will miss it so dearly when it's all over means that it is that much more beautiful now. I realize that there is so much beauty around me right now, that I don't need to look at it through a hazy blur just yet. It is very much clear and vibrant and overflowing with life and color. The faces and laughter of people I love are ever so clear, and I want to take in every second of it while it's still here. I don't want it to pass me by as if I'm already looking back on a memory. still a very nostalgic person and very much at the heart of this journey of growing up and reminiscing and losing and gaining and loving. But I'm slowly learning to turn that part of me into something more warm and soft, something that allows me to better appreciate the present rather than infuse it with sadness. I know that these moments will become memories and stories to tell. I know that as much as I want the people in my life to stay and linger for as long as they can, time may drift them slowly away. I know that I will never be this age again, and this time will never return. And for those same reasons, I appreciate the present that much more. For now, I turn my back on the future and past and face my present. It's glowing. This too will become the past, and you will mourn it. I will mourn it, but not yet.